Anybody can crappie fish. Anybody can take a crappie pole with a slip cord and a tutti frutti jig and catch supper like every day. And there's something that Strike King has worked on with people like me and their pro staff. They have worked on it for years. I mean, you see this bait, you say, well, they just popped this out. No, it's been out there. They've been towing with it for years and years, and this thing has been through a lot of tests. They work real well with people like me on what they want. It has paid off for me, and I hope it'll pay off for you as well as it has me.
Hi everybody, I'm Terry Brown, and again I'm in the man cave, in the Wired2Fish ManCave, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to change lower unit lube. We got a 9.9 Yamaha Outboard that we're going to change the lower unit lube in. One of the things that I want you to make sure of is that you check the specifications of your motor to make sure that you get the right lubricant for your particular motor. I happen to use 90 weight all the time. There's some 75W, there's some 80W weights. A lot of times that's detergents, rust inhibitors, some of those kind of things that go into the motor. There are things that you need to check with your manufacturer or your dealer to find out which one's best. I use SuperTech, I use Royal Purple. I think both of them are good. Royal Purple, the reason I like it is a synthetic. I think it's really a real good lube for your lower unit. I've never had a failure, even on a big motor or little motor. I've never had any problem with it. The tools you'll need today, you're going to need, of course, the lube. You're going to need good gear lube. You're also going to need a good screwdriver that you can be able to take the screws out of the bottom of the lower unit so that you can drain it and then fill it up. You're going to need a good set of gloves so you don't get it all over your hands. The thing about gear lube is it's sticky. So when you have it come out, it's real thick. Normally it's thicker than regular motor oil. So when you have it come out, you can get some on your hands. So a good set of gloves is good. Plus it's good to be able to loosen those screws that go into the lower unit. A good tub, which is very, very important, and I like a bigger one. The bigger one, the better. And this is one I changed oil in for a lot of years, but it's one that I can pour out as well. Everything I keep, I recycle. So when I get it, I take it, and I like the spout on it. The thing I like about that is I can pour that into a jug, take it to a recycle center, and they can use that again. The other thing you have to have is rags, and have a lot of those around. And the only reason you need those is to wipe off and clean up your motor after you're done. But when you get through doing this, you're going to find out it's a very easy process. It's not hard to do. When you start to do this, you want to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. If you just changed it last fall, you may not have to. But I always like to go at the beginning of the year knowing that this is the way to go from the standpoint of I'm not got any water in my lower unit, I've got good oil in it, and I'm ready to go for the entire year. When we drain this oil, one of the things you want to look at is you want to look at to see if there's any milky color to it or a mustard color. And the reason for that is that there could be water in the lower unit. That can add to wear. You can also have a failure as a result of having water in your lower unit. You want to get that motor as quick as you can to your dealer and let them take a look at it. Make sure that everything is okay. You might have a seal or something that's bad. Also, you want to make sure that when you look at this, it looks like it went in the way it comes out. There sometimes can be shavings, there can be little pieces of metal that may be in there that you'll see that will come out in the oil. If that's the case, that could be unnecessary wear, and you have to be very careful of that as well. Most generally you just have some small filings. That's okay because that's just normal wear and tear. And when you change the lower unit lube, you should see better performance. You should see that you're going to feel very comfortable as you go out and fish the tournament year. Okay, we're set up, and what I'm going to show you is there's actually two screws that you have to worry about. There's one on the bottom and there's one on the top. And what you're going to do is you're going to loosen the one on the bottom first. And the reason for that, there's a vacuum created between this area here that allows that to start to drip just a little bit. When I loosen the top screw, the oil is going to flow freely and it's going to be able to go right into the can that we've got below to catch it. So I'm going to undo this one. Sometimes they're pretty tight. And you want to make sure you keep track of this, okay? So when you do this, you don't want to lose this screw. This screw is very, very important to what we're doing here. And you're going to see there's going to be a little bit of it drain out, okay? And it looks really, really good. The oil looks great. That's the bottom one. Now when I lower this, you can see a little bit drained out. When I take this top one off and get it off of here, it's going to drain much faster, okay? So you're going to see the lower unit lube come out of there at a pretty good rate. And what that means is that you're going to get all of it out of there. A little bit of dirt in it, but overall it's pretty good looking. And we're going to let that drain. It takes about anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes for this to drain. And you want it all drained out of there. And the other thing you might want to do is once you get this starting to go is to lower your motor just a little bit. So I'm going to do that. Got trim on this boat, so I'm able to do that. And we're going to let it all run out of there. You want to keep track of these screws. They can be different sizes. Most motors anymore aren't, so it works out pretty good that way. To fill this, when you get ready to fill this, it's also a very unique way to do it, and I'll show you when we get ready to do it. As this oil leaks out, there's not much oil in the lower unit. Surprisingly enough, it's about, I can't even tell you, maybe about 10 to 12 ounces, maybe not even that much. But when it all drains out and it comes out of the motor, you can look down in that, and there's a little bit of dirt in it, but overall it looks pretty good. There's not any metal shavings, there's not any chunks of metal in there, so that means the lower unit's still in great shape. The vacuum is created is going to work for you when you get ready to fill it too, and I'll show you that in a second, because when we put the oil in and it starts to come out, the way you can tell that it's at the right level is it'll start to come out the top, because you fill from the bottom. So when you fill from the bottom, you'll squeeze the bottle, you'll start to see it come out of the top. That way you know that it's at the right level, and you can use a wire. You can actually stick that wire in there, and if it's got oil on it when it comes out, or a tie wrap, whatever you may have, that'll be able to do that. We have got most of it drained out. There's still a little bit dripping, but because this was put in last fall, it shouldn't be too bad. It looks good. Everything looks good. What we're going to do now is fill this. To fill this, you fill it from the bottom, and I'm going to show you what you'll do is you will put oil in it. You will fill it from the bottom, and then we will raise the motor up to put the bottom screw in so we can see it better. But what you'll do is you'll stick that tube in there. Some of these have pumps and stuff, but I like using the bottle, that way I can see it. So I'm going to fill it. Until it comes out of that top hole. Okay, there it's coming out of that top hole. I'm going to take the top screw. I've got to keep that in there, so this is kind of a little bit tenuous at times, because you got to be able to get that top screw in there without taking this bottle out, because it'll drain right back out if you don't. So you put that top screw back in, just about at it. Put that top screw back in. You're going to clean your fingers off just a little bit. You're going to tighten it up. We will go back and tighten it up with a dry screwdriver when we're done here. Keeping the bottle in here now. You see you've got the bottle still in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the bottle. It will drip a little bit. There's a gasket, as you can tell, that's on this. You want to make sure that's still on there good. You're going to pull this off of here. You'll see just a small amount of dripping. Not bad at all. You're going to put that screw in just like that. And it's threaded in. Use my fingernail to get it going. And then I'll use a screwdriver to tighten it up, using a rag to get my hands good and clean. And again, it's one of those things where now, once this is put in, you want to get the bottom one first. And get that put in. Good and tight. It's tight. You're going to go back up to the top. You're going to tighten it up. I like using a rag on this because that oil is very slick. And you'll find out that it will tighten just about a half a turn. Tighten this one. And then the last job, which is the dirtiest job, is you take that same rag, you wipe everything off so your motor's good and pristine. And that is how you change lower unit lube. An easy job, not one that's very hard to do. A little bit messy, I'll tell you that, but overall an easy job to do. You can do that on a small motor, you can do it on a big motor, exactly the same way.